they're saying it might be he indexes in the 90s on Sunday.
Oh, Lord.
And then I saw something on social media about a possible coup front early May, so it's like the weather's altered.
No, crazy.
That's Louisiana for you.
Yeah.
Kennedy, first of all, for the record, let me get you to say and spell your name so they have
Like my Kennedy and Marceaux? Okay.
I always do that because,
Okay.
like, if somebody else edits it later,
Okay.
they can know how to say and spell your name.
Okay.
Like, obviously, I know how to say
Okay.
it. You know what I mean?
Okay. So Kennedy Marceaux, Kennedy Kennedy, Marceaux Marceaux.
Okay. And this is your sophomore year, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, obviously, you know, you're getting a chance to return back home, right? Originally out of high school, you know, a lot of expectations that you had, player of the year and all these things like that, and you signed with Alabama. You have a year there, and now you're here in Cajun country. So I guess my first question is just how does it feel to be back? Like, you've been fully immersed in this season. How has it felt to be back close to home?
You know, I feel like when the opportunity arose to just come back home and just play for my home state, I was just filled with gratitude, you know, just being able to play with Coach Allie, because Coach Allie recruited me hard out of my junior year when I first decided to go to Alabama, and she was a big reason why I chose to go to Tuscaloosa. And just being back home, I mean, it just means the world to me to have my dad watch me play softball again, and just have my parents and all my community of Kaplan back home to just be able to come watch me and just play with a lot of girls that I played some type of travel ball with, or even just in the all-star games with high school. It's been a real joy to play with them again.
What kind of went into your decision in leaving from Alabama? Was it homesickness? What was it that made you want to, you know, ultimately leave the program?
Yeah, it was a really, really hard decision. I think when you move away at 19, 18 years old, there's a lot that goes on, you know, a lot of soul searching, a lot of questions that you have to ask yourself, and you're finally on your own. Like, nothing prepares you for that, and I think a lot did have to do with me just missing home and just not being used to it, and I think it was really hard. Like, it was extremely hard for me, and it was a tough time, but I do have to say that, like, again, I would never change what I did. If I had the chance to do it all over again, I would still go over there because I met some really amazing people. But I just would have to say is that I think there's always a place for you. And at the time of my junior year, I realized that before I did go over there, you know, like, a lot had changed for me, and I wasn't the same person that I was when I committed to the university. And when I finally decided to leave, it just wasn't really the correct fit for me, just from the stands of just developmental for, like, me as a player and just where I wanted to go with my career. So that's just what my decision was on deciding to leave.
Absolutely. You talked about Coach Habits, and obviously she recruited you there to Alabama, and now she's here. What is your relationship like with her, and what kind of role or pitch does she kind of have for you to say, come back home?
Yeah, you know, I'm homegrown in this little city of Kaplan, but I say this because I've been all over the country, and every single time I leave and I come back home, I'm like, God, I missed home so much, you know. There's just no place like Louisiana, no place like Lafayette, and just the sense of her, you know, she's from Crawley. She knows what it means to go far away and realize how special it is back at home. And there was really, I think, just the connection with us between, like, my junior year of just deciding to go over there, and just the recruitment process, you know, like, I always had a strong connection with Coach Allie, and just the sense of, like, we had a really strong bond, and just, like, she understood me and I understood her, and we just really got each other. And I think, like, as a player, like, you look for that bond within a coach, and you have just, like, when you know, you know. And I just knew that from the first time I ever met Coach Allie, and I think anybody can say this when you meet her. Like, she's just so special, and she just makes you feel so important, and just the sense of, like, it's real, like, it's not fake. And so I knew that, you know, when I wanted a coach or who I was deciding who I would want to be my coach, like she had a big play in that because, we really had that connection.
Like I was talking to Madison Man a couple of weeks ago, and she just mentioned of how genuine Coach Hammond feels and how much of a difference that it is, at some programs where it's like all business, and you get here and the coaches seem like they care even more about you. Like how much does that make your decision even more so? Like I know I made the right choice because like even when things aren't good on the field or we're struggling in these areas, like they're still telling us like we believe in you guys and we love you guys.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, when I first went on my visit to UL my junior year, it was a really, really hard decision. I called Coach Glasgow and I called Coach Lacey and I was crying because it was such a hard decision, and I love them so much. And especially Coach Lacey, when I went on my visit, my grandma wasn't doing well, and I ended up getting a call that my grandma wasn't doing well, and like she hugged me and like I was crying on my visit, and like just her being there for me, like, I mean, it means the world to me, and I'll never forget her, and I'll never forget it in her. I mean, I really do have a strong bond with Coach Lacey as well, like she's played a big part in my commitment as well as Coach Allie, and I just, they really are special. Like, they've played a huge role in just who I am as a person, and in these short months, like, it's insane how much I'm forever grateful for them.
Let's talk a little ball. Like the other night, you had a great night from the plate, and things were really, really clicking for you. What has kind of flipped a switch for you, or if it has at all, about the way you're doing things at bat? Are you seeing the ball a lot better? What are you doing kind of differently to be peaking at this right time?
Really just preparation. I mean, preparation breeds confidence in the sense of just like when you're so prepared, like you can't fail, right? Like, or even if you do, it's like I'm right there. I'm knocking on the door. And I think honestly this whole season before conference came in, like I always told Coach Bill, like I'm right there. I'm knocking on the door. I'm about to bust through. And I think just, realizing that like this game is hard and it's not easy, but it's the fact of how consistent can you be and just how you can take the minor setbacks rather than just playing and being like, what, it's okay, like it's fine. Like I might have just failed, but that's preparing me for my next at bat and just allowing you to just be free and just taking everything into account that like no pitcher's gonna beat me, and in the sense of just really just owning everything, like owning the hard and just loving it to the full extent.
This weekend, you guys have a really big series against conference leader in Marceaux. What have y'all kind of talked about as you're in your preparations to look at this and not think of it as like a David versus Goliath type of thing, that it's the next game. It's an opportunity in front of you, but it's not something that you need to be like overly pressing for.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think we talk about all the time, just one game at a time. And if you take one thing at a time, then it prepares you for the next game. And then I know like we're always talking about making it to our conference tournament. And I think if we do the little things right and we worry about one game at one time and one pitch, then everything's gonna it's gonna prepare us for the next game and just allow us to get to the next step. So I think just the biggest thing is just being able to compete our faces off and just, knowing that it's not going to be easy, but nothing was meant to be easy. Nothing that's rewarding is easy. So I think, just us being prepared and just going in there, full throttle, guns blazing. I mean, there's nothing more I think anybody could ask for as long as we just own everything and just go out there and have fun and just play the game that we know how to play.
I guess my last question for you, as you guys sit where you are, we talked about it the other day in the conference standings of how that's not important about what you're faced with. Why do you believe that this team can continue to get hot, right? And then as y'all head into the conference tournament, do something that, like Coach Allie talked about after the LSU game, like y'all can become one of the greatest Cinderella stories ever. Why do you believe?
Yeah, no, I think when you really just look at it, I mean, if you look at the standard and you look at the history of Raging Cajun softball, I mean, some crazy things have been done. And I think, you know, in the whole picture of it, it's not over until it's over. And I think that, you know, with all the girls that we have, you know, it's going to take the whole team to pull it off, but it's not impossible for sure. I mean, I think the impossible is possible, but this absolutely is not impossible. And I think, you know, just buying into everything and really, really taking the little things seriously and just being full, like nose and just like being blue collar and just working hard and just competing, you know. I mean, it's going to take the right things to fall into place, but I think, you know, I think that's finally starting to fall on our side for sure, and just playing. I mean, just having fun and just going back to ground zero. It's just like we play softball. We've been doing this for how many years? You know, it's nothing new, and just trusting in our preparation and trusting in our abilities and just letting it go.
Anything else you want to say?
I think that's it.
That's all I needed from you.
Awesome.